Well, here we are again, Dell's Ducks this week. We're at the beautiful Poppy Waterman Ice Arena tonight. We just had our billet meeting, very successful billet meeting, a lot of new people in the fold, so we thank them all for coming out, obviously. And tonight, as usual, I'm joined by head coach Bill Zaniboni and assistant Jake Heibeisen. Welcome, guys.
How you doing, Jimmy?
It was kind of nice tonight just to see a lot of new faces and volunteers stepping up, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it was really exciting to see how many new families that have stepped up and came on board and opened their homes, right, to our guys that are coming in. You know, it's important to see that support from the community, and it's exciting.
Yeah, and Jake, you're kind of like the expert that people go to for advice and stuff. You've been through it. You were kind of a billetee like in the old days with the team.
Yeah, I was pointing out earlier that we started off year one with these big houses, and it was kind of a bit crazy. But every year, we've gotten more and more billets, and it's got to a point now where it's thankfully 100% billet families, and I think the quality of our billet families is phenomenal. So I mean, it really is. It's a huge help to the guys to have that support system to be able to leave the rink and go home, and get away, get back in the family environment.
Yeah, and I think with that sort of done, and it's a sign that moved into kind of the final preseason sort of stage as far as getting ready for the players to arrive and stuff like that. In some ways, it's a little bit more hectic right now, like a lot of last minute stuff being done. Coach, you will obviously like being on a schedule, which you are during the season. You have a routine. In the off season, you have a routine with the showcases. A little bit different now the last couple of weeks, but kind of builds the excitement too, I think, when you get into this part.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this is probably our last week of freedom.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have guys arriving pretty quick here, and coming all different times, and trying to prepare for camp the right way, and what we're going to do for off ice, and kind of what's going to lead us into the season. So we've been at the rink now pretty much every night till about midnight, and making sure the locker room's getting ready, and in the office, and all of our papers are getting filed for per individual, and getting all the guys' transcripts together and make sure to get stuff prepared for colleges, and it's exciting. Now it's just it's getting the faces in here and getting to the grind, and having some fun doing something we love to do.
Yeah. And we have some big announcements here for fans of former Ducks teams. We have 2 players back in the fold, and I'm pretty excited about both these. Let's start with Lucas Smith. He was a defenseman for us last year, a Calgary, Alberta native. Had some NA tryouts this spring and summer, and it sounded like he performed well.
Yeah.
And maybe just missed kind of thing, but his plan B was always to come back to the Ducks, and pretty happy to get him in the fold just this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, we always want our guys to advance, right? And I think Lucas kind of knew that, for him to advance with him being an import, he has a harder chance than anyone else.
Yeah, yeah.
And coming back here now with the new rules, Lucas is not considered an import. So, it's an easy decision for us to bring a kid back, with the character that Lucas possesses on and off of the ice, and the qualities and morals that he has. I would expect for him to be a leader for us. I'm not saying that he's wearing a letter or not, but just to come in with the expectations that he knows, what we expect as a staff, and within our systems and stuff like that. So, we're very honored to get a player like that back, because he for sure could be playing at that next level.
Okay. Now, Jake, he's one of the players that you would have worked pretty closely with last year. You were sort of your focus was on defense. Obviously, Coach Zaniboni worked with everybody, but you had a pretty good relationship with him. I think he was a rookie, but he seemed like a pretty coachable guy.
Yeah, and the nice thing about Lucas was he's, like you said, he's coachable. anything you tell him to do or suggest, he takes it all in and really thinks about it. You know, he's a guy that asks the why questions
Okay.
in the right space. You know, why do I do this? Kind of the theory behind the game. And I think, you know, that's a big part of guys growing in this is becoming a student of the game. Lucas, I think, did a really good job with that last year, and I would expect to see big steps in his game this year. Coming in now as a veteran, you know, I think he's going to come in with a lot more confidence, and I think, you know, he's set himself up to have a pretty good season.
Yeah, I think the confidence thing you're talking about is maybe one of the biggest things that he needed to maybe build up a bit, and he's obviously a more mature player now, and it could be a pretty big season for him.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, we're excited to have him back for sure.
Yeah. And the other guy kind of took a sabbatical from the Dallas Ducks. He's been away for a season or so. Ian Harris from Fort Wayne. Probably historically one of he's got some stats that may never be touched on this team. He's a PK specialist for sure, but he's got a very full game, a very complete player. I had a chance to see him in Janesville a couple weeks ago, and again, I think he was pretty close to making that team. But he's, from what I've heard, it sounds like he was pretty excited about coming back here, and he's committed to making his final season of junior a pretty memorable one, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's a player I think that brings a lot to a team, right? You know, he's a guy that kind of doesn't have an off switch and can really help in all three areas of the ice. And you know, I would imagine he'll be a guy, you know, like you brought up, being on special teams. You know, being a guy that's coming in with a 20-year-old for his last year, kind of where, you know, he was on that first team that went to the national tournament here. You know, he's been a really good player to have in this uniform for us, and you know, I think that he's excited about, you know, hopefully getting us back there, and being one of those older guys to help everything out and put us in the right direction. But yeah, I mean, we're thrilled to have a guy like that back, and to add him into our lineup with the guys that we've already signed. You know, it puts us in a good spot.
Yeah, real pleasant surprise for me. I didn't realize that he was considering our team again, and a real nice surprise midsummer to have all of a sudden have a guy like that put in your lineup. It just adds so much to our team, I think, all around.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, he doesn't have an off switch, and you know, he's always going. So
Yeah.
it's someone that you can count on, and you know, you can count on to set a tone. You can count on him late in the game.
Yeah.
He'll block a shot, and I mean, he'll do whatever it takes for the guy next to him. And that's what we're looking for right now. And you know, we're excited to come into the new league and make some noise, and you know, we feel like he can be a guy to help us do that.
So that kind of brings us into the actual start of the season here. Like we said, things are sort of in the works, getting ready for guys that will be, excuse me, arriving as soon as the next week or so. The start of a Coach Zaniboni training camp is memorable and maybe not so nice away for players. It's something that they have to go through to be on a team. Conditioning is, for any team, I think, is probably the first thing that they have to work on.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, we go through camp and it's tough, and you know, it's grueling, but you know, it's exciting. You know, we keep the guys around each other a lot, and it's a good way for them to get to know each other and help positively push each other through maybe some mental and physical barriers. You know, and it helps that team start growing and get some glue. You know, and then you know, we'll take that camping trip, and you know, we'll do a lot of stuff right off of the bat here to get these guys out of their comfort zone, and be able to rely on the guy next to them to get out of the uncomfortable.
Yeah, facing that adversity together,
Absolutely.
Something that's really nice to work on as a team. And we do have some concrete dates set. The actual schedule is still being fine-tuned a little bit as of this exact moment. But here's some stuff we can tell you. The tradition is going to continue at the beginning with the Janesville Jets Once again, we're going to make the trip to Janesville. This will be the third season in a row, and the second season in a row that we're going to play back-to-back games with the Jets. It's hard to believe, but we're already in a hockey month. The Ducks are going to be at Janesville to face the NAHL Jets on August 28th and 29th. And that's something that I think that's one of the things that maybe makes our team stick out a bit, is that we take on some of these tough games right at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, right, like we have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
You know, we go in there and it gives our guys an opportunity, maybe one last crack at the, you know, at the plate to showcase what they have for a North American League team. And, you know, we have a great relationship with their staff, and we're honored to be able to go down there and play. And, you know, I think it's something that we all look forward to. You know, even from our standpoint, it's exciting to see our guys face, you know, adversity right off of the bat on the ice. I mean, playing against guys that maybe have already committed Division I, or you know, are on a central scouting for the NHL list, and just to kind of see, you know, who backs down and who's willing to play through that stuff and not think about it. I mean, it's great. It helps us, you know, with our season. I think it puts the mindset in with the guys that they've competed, you know, at that level for 2 games. Like, now we got to go into our season and handle business.
What do you think, Jake, is the biggest sort of adjustment that a player has to make between the, like, as far as the competition of Tier 3 versus Tier 2 in the NAHL? Like, what is the biggest sort of shocking thing that the players face in games like that?
Probably a combination of the pace of the game, the speed, and the intensity that they do everything with. You know, it's a shock in games, and I can tell you a few years ago, Ian Wood and Ian Harris, actually, the three of us, we went down to Janesville for practice, and even the way that they practice, you know, they practice with a game intensity. You know, and I think the intensity of our practices is very good too. But to just see what those guys play with, I mean, you know, you're talking about Division I scholarships on the line. The stakes are very high for those guys. You know, they take it very seriously. So,
2 seasons ago, we went to Janesville and didn't return with our captain. So they're always looking. You never know what could happen. Jake Steima, I remember he had a very great night. As a team, I thought we played really great that night.
We lost 6-4.
Yeah, Steima scored a goal, impressed the coaches, and stayed in Janesville briefly. But yeah, they're always watching. It's a night to maybe impress somebody.
Absolutely.
So then we move on to the following weekend. That's the 28th, 29th. The next weekend, which I think has to be Labor Day weekend, going to make a trip into the UP, to your alma mater, I believe, Northern Michigan, and probably a couple more tough exhibition contests there.
Yeah, I mean, they're always a big, strong team. You know, they have some good players that have played actually against us or in our locker room, and you know, it'll be a good test for our guys to play against guys that are, you know, 24, 25 years old, that you know, that have been around and played the college game at a high pace. You know, we're excited. I think it's a good learning experience. It's going to put us on the Olympic sheet. It's going to put some guys into non-comfort zones on the ice. And, you know, I think with back-to-back weekends like they are with Janesville and then going up to Northern, you know, it's a great preseason schedule for us, and a really good 4 games that, you know, hopefully are going to be hard fought.
Yeah, and I think that you know, the combination of the tough conditioning schedule plus the bonding type things that a road trip can bring, and some tough competition. I don't know that we're going to be in mid-season form, but I think we're going to be well prepared by the time we roll into Iliana. That'll be the following weekend to start our regular season.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Iliana's always been a good team.
Oh boy.
And you know, they're always big. They're always mean, and you know, it'll be a good test for us to hop into this league, and you know, we we've never seen them in divisional play. We've seen them last year in the showcase for a game, and then the year before, obviously, we played them in the Final Four. So, they're always there at the end of the year knocking at the door, and it's going to be exciting. Obviously, they're coached by Reed Simpson, an ex-NHLer, and he does a good job with those guys. So, yeah, I mean, we're excited. I think our 4 games plus our training camp, hopefully it prepares our guys the right way, and they come in, not thinking training camp's getting them in shape, but just getting them more prepared. Hopefully they come in, they're ready to go.
Yeah. And the following season will be our home opener. Might be a bit of an emotional weekend as we kind of pay tribute to Ben Allison. And we're going to open our regular season on the Friday, Saturday, which I think is the 18th and 19th, against the expansion Chicago Cougars. But from what I'm hearing, they're not going to play like an expansion team.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see, what they bring. That's for sure. I mean, obviously they have one pretty big signing there with the guy that's played like 170 games in the OHL, and
That's pretty big.
yeah, that's a lot of games at Major Junior, and yeah, I mean, it should be exciting. I mean, it'll definitely be a tough game. I think, more so for the staff, because we coach Ben, and we had Ben here. I don't think there'll be a guy in the locker room that played with him. So it's something that unfortunately we have to do. I mean, he was a part of our family, and you never obviously want to have a night like this for one of your players, but he deserves it. He was one of the best people you'd ever meet. So hopefully we can put that jersey up, and he can watch over the boys this year, and I think as he did last year.
And that's a little over a month away if you're thinking about when hockey's coming, going through withdrawal from no hockey. It's coming really soon. We're days away from opening our camp, and just a few short weeks away from playing in anger against some pretty tough competition. Coaches, thank you very much for your input tonight, and we'll talk again next week when we'll literally be just a few hours away from starting camp.
Yeah, thanks, Jimmy. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, Jimmy.
Yeah, thanks.